I can bring you in warm, or I can bring you in cold.
Hello there, and welcome to Mandotheory. My channel is made to help you understand Star Wars. Everything you want to know, but don't have the time to research it yourself. Today we'll be talking about the Bad Batch. Who they are, where they came from, and what they're going to be doing in the future. The Bad Batch is an elite group of clone commandos who have genetically desirable mutations. Hunter has really heightened senses. He can sense almost anything electromagnetic on the entire planet. Wrecker is really strong. He can pick up almost anything. Tech is really smart and remembers a lot of stuff. And Crosshairs is really good at sniping and can hit almost anything he aims at. And then Echo has an astromech hand and has a slightly modified brain. He used to be an ARC trooper until the Separatists captured him and tried using him to take the tactics that Commander Rex and Cody were using, so that the Separatists would have an edge and the Republic wouldn't know what happened. Echo used to be an ARC trooper, which means he was one of the best clone troopers there was. He was part of Domino's Squad in the Clone Wars. We only see Domino's Squad for a couple episodes. You know that half their squad died in Season 2. And we see them training in the beginning of Season 3. And then after that episode, we see the episode called ARC Trooper, where all the clones have to defend their home planet of Kamino against the Separatists' aquatic army, which is a really awesome episode. It's the one where the Clone Trooper 99 dies, though, which is not. I really liked him though. But Echo became an ARC trooper on that day. Commander Rex and Commander Cody promoted him and his friend to that level of ARC trooper, which was something we only see two clones who weren't trained to be ARC troopers be promoted to, which is a really important thing to be promoted to. If only two of them that we know of has had that done to them. Now let's get into watching the Bad Batch trailer.
They call themselves the Bad Batch.
The Republic will be reorganized into the First Galactic Empire!
That was quite an impressive display.
The Bad Batch was a very highly trained clone commandos. They had spent years on the cloning planet of Kamino. We see Obi-Wan on that planet looking for Jango Fett and all the clones in the movie Attack of the Clones. We don't see it very long in that movie, only about 10-15-ish minutes. But it's like an ocean planet with some cloning facilities set up on the surface. We don't see Kamino that much throughout the series, only in a few episodes of the Clone Wars, and only in Attack of the Clones of the movies. Other than that, we only hear mention of it in the rest of the movies. The Kaminos have a very highly advanced set of cloning things. They have Jango Fett was the donor for all the clones. And after he died in Attack of the Clones, when Mace Windu cut off his head, the Kaminoans were running out of his genes to use for cloning, so they had to start using less and less perfect ones, and so the clones started being more and more likely to mutate. But that's not what happened with the Bad Batch. The Kaminoans tried to make them mutate by changing how the gene was put into them to make it so that they would be different with all the abilities that they already had. And they actually succeeded, sort of. They were going to try putting in and program that into every clone, but it took way too long for them to edit every single gene cell. So they decided against doing that. The Bad Batch went through almost 10 years of training from when they were born to the time they were deployed into the field. Remember, clone aged twice as fast as a normal being. So when they were 10, they were physically as old as they were 20. In the opening scene to the Bad Batch trailer, we see Commander Cody, who is the commander that worked in the 512th with Obi-Wan Kenobi, who ordered the cannons to blast him off the cliff in Revenge of the Sith, who thought they killed him. Most of the time he works with Kenobi. He starts with seeing him say, they call themselves the Bad Batch. Which is, he also says the exact same thing in the episode called The Bad Batch in the Clone Wars Season 7, which is the first episode of that season. Which I think is a really cool way to start the season, or the show, trailer. And then, after that, we see their ship landing on a ton of planets, including Kamino, which I talked about earlier. We don't see it actually land, but we see it flying into the atmosphere through space. I really can't identify these planets just from one view, because there's so many planets in the Star Wars galaxy. But I could see Kamino, and I could see some that looked like cities too. We also see the Bad Batch arming their weapons, and we see a few seconds later a regular batch of clones arming their weapons too. I think they might be going to end up fighting about something. I think it might be Order 66, because right after that, we see Emperor Palpatine say, the Republic has been reorganized into the First Galactic Empire, which happened a few hours after Order 66. Then we see the Bad Batch and Fennec Shand coming in and basically shooting up Kamino. I don't know why they did that yet, but I'm pretty sure that it also has something to do with Order 66, and now they're enemies of the First Order and the First Galactic Empire and any other dark side force that comes after that, if they survive that long. We also see Fennec Shand from the Mandalorian coming through with them in her mask and helping them. We don't see her much, and I don't know much about her other than what we know from the Mandalorian. And what I do know is that Fennec Shand is a highly trained assassin bounty hunter who had a very high bounty put on her head in the Mandalorian, which is almost 30 years later. So she'd be a lot younger than she was in the Mandalorian, and would not be in live action, because the Bad Batch is another animated series. That Admiral Tarkin saying that was quite an impressive display to them. So I don't know when that happened, if it was before Order 66 or something like that, because that didn't really make sense with the timeline and everything. Unless they did follow Order 66, or they're out on a mission with him. I don't really get that part of the trailer. After that, we see all the droids, R2, R7, a bunch of other ones I don't know the names of yet, because we haven't seen them before, and just bouncing, and then that's the end of the trailer. My opinion is still that the Bad Batch was either A, not next to Jedi when the Order 66 happened, or B, because they were mutated, did not get the inhibitor chips put in them. In case it went wrong, they wouldn't start killing all the Jedi way too early. What happened was, instead, I think they were not next to the Jedi, which is or I think that they were either really near the Jedi and helped defend some of them from Order 66, or they were not next to the Jedi and just completely destroyed everything. And then went rogue and then started fighting the clones on Camino and turned into an elite group of bounty hunters who worked with Fennec Shand to stop the Galactic Empire. In the years before the Luke Skywalker and everything happened, there's almost a 20-year gap there. That will bring this episode of Mandotheory to a close. The Bad Batch will be releasing on May 4th, with a second episode releasing on May 7th, and every Friday after that. I'll see you next time. Mandotheory out.
This is the way.
This is the way. This is the way.